Donald Trump during an active federal trial, Amitma formally transmitted evidence to United States Congress, referring the president for impeachment consideration.
On January 8, 2026, an unprecedented moment unfolded in American politics as a federal judge directly transmitted evidence implicating the sitting president to Congress for impeachment consideration. This action, happening mid-trial, stunned lawmakers, legal experts, and the public alike.
Good morning, everyone. On this solemn day, I recall that the first order of business for members of Congress is the solemn act to take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. There's great respect and gratitude that I thank the chairs of the committees, the 6 committees who have been working to help us honor our oath of office. I also want to thank the staff of those committees and the committee members for all of their work over this period of time to help us protect and defend. I want to thank the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Nadler, chair of the Intelligence Committee, Mr. Schiff, chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Richie Neal.
The judge's decision came less than 24 hours after Trump's legal team was physically removed from the courtroom for perjury, highlighting the gravity of misconduct in real time. For the first time in history, a federal judge bypassed traditional timelines and sent full evidence, including transcripts, recordings, and body camera footage, directly to the House of Representatives. The implications of this move are monumental, suggesting that not even the highest office is immune from accountability. Courtroom drama sets the stage. The trigger for this extraordinary judicial referral was the ejection of Trump's lawyers from the courtroom. Federal marshals removed them after repeated perjury and dishonesty, a spectacle that was widely documented and broadcast. This action was more than procedural. It was a signal of the trial's severity and a warning that deceptive legal tactics would not be tolerated. Observers noted the profound symbolism. Authority, process, and truth took precedence over political allegiance. The courtroom, typically a venue of slow, methodical deliberation, suddenly became a stage for immediate consequences, forcing Congress to respond. Legal experts suggest that this moment marked a turning point, as the evidence of misconduct was no longer abstract or hypothetical, but undeniable and well documented. Public trust and institutional integrity were visibly reinforced, even as political tensions soared. Evidence transmission to Congress. Judge Mai's referral to the House was not a mere summary. It included comprehensive evidence. This unprecedented transmission contained courtroom transcripts showing lawyers lying 17 times, financial documents including the $40 million Saudi payment, and recordings of Trump instructing associates to ignore court orders and threatening judges. The judge's action was deliberate, transparent, and legally robust, ensuring Congress received a complete picture rather than a selective brief. The phrase, "congressional transmission is now complete," carries immense legal weight, signaling that the judiciary had formally concluded its documentation and urged legislative action. By sending full records, the judge left no room for denial or misrepresentation, providing lawmakers a factual foundation for immediate impeachment consideration. Immediate political shockwaves. The referral instantly reshaped the political landscape. Republicans who had defended Trump for months began defecting, with notable figures such as Thomas Massie publicly calling for resignation or removal. The number of co-sponsors on the impeachment resolution jumped to 220, securing a majority in the House and making immediate action possible. Lawmakers who previously hesitated now faced clear evidence and public scrutiny, forcing decisions under a compressed timeline. This shift illustrated how rapidly political loyalties can change when confronted with overwhelming documentation of wrongdoing. Parties and individuals that once supported Trump found themselves navigating a new reality, where loyalty could no longer shield them from legal or political consequences. The immediacy of the referral meant that procedural delay, a common strategy for presidents facing controversy, was unavailable, forcing Congress to operate on a judicial clock rather than a political one. The 72-hour rule and impeachment countdown. With the referral, procedural mechanisms accelerated dramatically. Representatives Rowana and Al Green invoked the 72-hour rule, compelling the House to vote on impeachment within 3 days. By January 11th, the House was mandated to act, removing political delay as a viable strategy for the president. The compressed timeline heightened tension, with every vote, statement, and maneuver now under intense scrutiny. This procedural tool is designed for emergencies, emphasizing that delay could risk constitutional integrity or public safety. The rapid timeline magnified stakes for lawmakers, who had to reconcile party loyalty, legal evidence, and public accountability. Every political calculation was now transparent, and the inevitability of action created pressure on remaining undecided members. Trump's public reaction. In response, Trump escalated his rhetoric on social media, issuing all-caps posts warning of civil war and framing the impeachment process as a politically motivated attack. While intended to intimidate and rally supporters, these posts were simultaneously creating evidence for Congress and investigators. Each statement, preserved and time-stamped, could serve as proof of incitement and further erode political and legal defenses. Trump's pattern of aggressive, reactive communication highlighted his perception of being cornered, revealing the personal and political pressure generated by the referral. Experts noted that such behavior is consistent with a leader under extreme duress, often escalating risk while attempting to maintain control. Law enforcement and intelligence agencies responded by increasing security measures and monitoring extremist activity to prevent potential unrest. National Guard and security measures. Washington, D.C. experienced unprecedented security measures following the referral. The National Guard was mobilized, barricades erected, and law enforcement agencies deployed to prevent violent confrontations. This heightened security reflected the gravity of the moment, particularly given the January 6th insurrection's recent memory. Authorities recognized that incendiary rhetoric from a sitting president could translate into real-world violence if left unchecked. The simultaneous presence of pro- and anti-Trump demonstrators increased risk, necessitating careful coordination among federal, local, and intelligence agencies. These measures underscored the delicate balance between protecting democratic institutions and managing civil liberties. The security response also reflected institutional learning from past crises. Authorities acted swiftly to ensure that political unrest did not escalate into violent disruption, highlighting the importance of preparedness when constitutional processes intersect with high emotions and public mobilization. Criminal implications beyond impeachment. The referral also triggered criminal scrutiny. Evidence of perjury, obstruction of justice, and potential witness intimidation is being forwarded to prosecutors in multiple jurisdictions, including Washington, New York, and Georgia. Grand juries are already active, suggesting the possibility of simultaneous criminal indictments. If Trump directed his lawyers to lie under oath, it could constitute suborning perjury, a federal crime with significant legal consequences. Obstruction and intimidation charges carry additional exposure, potentially extending beyond the presidency. The convergence of criminal and legislative proceedings illustrates the multifaceted nature of accountability mechanisms in the United States. Unlike political challenges, criminal processes operate independently of consent and are driven by evidence and legal standards. 25th Amendment considerations. Amid the unfolding crisis, discussions of the 25th Amendment have quietly emerged. This constitutional mechanism allows for the removal of a president deemed incapable of discharging duties, independent of impeachment or congressional action. The mere consideration of this option underscores the severity of the situation and serves as a pressure valve for institutions concerned about stability and capacity. While technically optional, it signals that legal and executive bodies are prepared to act decisively to maintain functional governance. The discussion itself exerts pressure on political actors and emphasizes the potential consequences of escalating rhetoric or destabilizing behavior. The 25th Amendment operates in parallel with impeachment and criminal investigation, illustrating the multiple safeguards embedded in the U.S. system. Republican Party fractures. The political fallout has extended into the Republican Party. Loyalists double down on support for Trump, while pragmatists and moderate members are defecting in real time. Internal threats, harassment, and political pressure highlight the deep fractures emerging within the party. The crisis demonstrates how legal and constitutional events can force rapid reassessment of political allegiance. Party cohesion, traditionally maintained through loyalty and shared ideology, is now challenged by tangible evidence and procedural mandates. The upcoming House vote creates additional strain, as remaining Republicans must weigh political risk against constitutional obligation. The fractures are likely to persist beyond this crisis, reshaping internal dynamics and electoral strategies. Global and domestic implications. International observers are closely monitoring the crisis. A sitting U.S. president facing impeachment, criminal scrutiny, and public threats of civil war signals instability, which can affect diplomatic relationships, economic confidence, and national security. Allies are concerned about continuity of leadership, while adversaries may perceive opportunities to exploit perceived weakness. Domestically, the convergence of legal, legislative, and security measures demonstrates the stakes for democratic governance. Public trust, civic stability, and the rule of law are all under heightened scrutiny, emphasizing the interconnectedness of internal governance and international credibility. Constitutional authority and the judiciary. Judge Mai's actions shattered long-standing assumptions about the separation of powers. Traditionally, courts have refrained from direct intervention in legislative processes, leaving Congress to act independently. By transmitting full evidence mid-trial, the judiciary asserted an active role in enforcing accountability. This move signals a shift in institutional dynamics, reinforcing that serious misconduct can prompt immediate judicial guidance, especially when constitutional thresholds are at stake. The referral undermines strategies of delay or political maneuvering, demonstrating that evidence and process can compel action even against sitting presidents. It reflects the judiciary's evolving role as a guardian of constitutional integrity, ensuring that no office is above scrutiny. Inevitability of impeachment. The combination of judicial referral, 220 co-sponsors in the House, and procedural mechanisms like the 72-hour rule makes impeachment all but certain. The question is no longer if, but how extensive Republican defections will be and what margin will carry the vote. Evidence, rather than political opinion, now dominates the conversation. Every procedural and legal step reinforces momentum, leaving little room for delay or avoidance. Even if the Senate trial ultimately acquits, the political damage and institutional accountability measures will leave a lasting mark. The inevitability highlights how constitutional processes, once activated, operate independently of personal influence, public rhetoric, or partisan calculation, demonstrating that systems of governance are designed to enforce accountability beyond mere political strategy. Converging crises and the next 72 hours. The immediate window is critical. Within 3 days, Congress must vote on impeachment, while criminal investigations, security measures, and internal party calculations evolve in real time. The convergence of legal, political, and institutional pressures creates an unprecedented crisis, with potential implications for governance, public stability, and national security. Every day, every statement, and every action will be scrutinized and potentially entered into the official record. The next 72 hours are not just procedural, they are transformative, defining both the presidency and the functional integrity of constitutional mechanisms. The nation watches as institutional accountability is tested, demonstrating the resilience and adaptability of democratic structures in the face of extraordinary challenges.